It's been 15 years since Avatar: The Last Airbender first appeared on Nickelodeon, and since then, it's been called one of the best animated TV shows to exist. Maybe even one of the best TV shows, period. And I'm here to talk about why. Why do people love this show so much? What makes it good even after all these years, and it makes its way onto the #1 trending spot on Netflix and still has everyone talking about it? Well, it's clearly because of Momo. I'm just kidding, it's definitely the Cabbage Man. Avatar: The Last Airbender is about an airbender named Aang.
The monks named me Aang.
No, fuck that movie, it's Aang. Aang woke up from a 100-year little nappy nap in an ice ball and realized he's been thrown into the middle of a world war and he must face the Fire Lord to end it. Alongside him are his friends Katara, a waterbender from the Southern Water Tribe, who, if given the chance, will bring up how her mom is dead.
They killed my mother. I went through the same thing when I lost my mom. My mother gave it to me. I lost my mother in a Fire Nation raid.
And her older brother Sokka, a non-bender who makes up for that by being one hell of a warrior, not before getting his sexist ass kicked though by his later girlfriend. No, not that one. And later Toph, the world's best earthbender who just happens to be blind. I love Toph so much, she's my favorite character in the whole show, by the way. And together they have some crazy adventures as they travel around the world finding bending masters and just exploring the world that Aang hasn't seen in 100 years, all while being chased by angsty Prince Zuko, who's trying to capture the Avatar to give to his father, the Fire Lord, to restore his honor. Zuko is accompanied by his uncle Iroh, a former war general who is literally the nicest man you will ever meet who just wants to give wise proverbs and drink tea. I think I might have lied, I think Uncle Iroh might be my favorite. And when Team Avatar isn't being chased by Prince Zuko, it's his sister, Princess Azula, and when it's not her, it's either pirates, it's bounty hunters, it's Long Fang and the Dai Li. This show just has a whole lot of interesting antagonists to keep us entertained while having the right balance of comedy and drama, something most shows that are meant for kids just don't have. And that's something that really sets Avatar apart from most other kids shows, because it doesn't treat its audience like kids. Let's be honest though, most of them aren't. The story is simple and easy to understand, similar to Star Wars in that sense. Here's your good guys, here's your bad guys. You're on a mission, and here's some characters to help you along the way. Here's some magical powers, here's an old wise man, here's a giant furry animal sidekick, here's an interesting world that you'll do anything to see and learn more about. The parallel between the two just go on, and I think there's a reason why I love both of them so much. As much as I love this show though, I feel like it's going to be really hard to actually talk about it. This show has been talked about a lot, from hour-long reviews to individual character deep dives. Trust me, I've watched all of them, but I feel like it's going to be hard to bring something new to the table when talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm sure gonna try, but some of the stuff I talk about might have already been said, and that's okay. I really love this show and just want to talk about it and make a video about it rather than like bothering my girlfriend with this. I feel like I should just share it with the internet now. I've watched this series through about 3 times now. Once when I was like 6, again when I was 19, and then again a few months ago when it was put on Netflix at 21. And I think it's safe to say it's just as entertaining each time. It holds up, the characters, the animation, the themes, and the jokes. Oh my god, the jokes are amazing.
I'm riding for hours. I don't know why, but I thought this thing would be a lot faster.
Appa's right, Zuko. In our group, typically we start out our missions with a more upbeat attitude.
Book 1, Water, starts out like most other adventure stories do. Its job is to introduce us to the world and the characters that live in it and developing them as we go along. We meet a lot of characters in Season 1 that end up making a reappearance in later seasons. The main story though is around Aang, Katara, and Sokka, which is perfect. We have Zuko keeping them on their toes as we have a straightforward goal and direction. Get to the Northern Water Tribe and find a master. This is the part of the story that's all fun and games before things get too serious. And I mean, while Book 1 is simple, it does have some meaningful stories that develop. Aang deals with being the Avatar and the guilt that comes with running away from that responsibility and running away literally from his home. He deals with the mourning of his people who died long before anybody in this world were around to see them. Zuko is also given some dimension outside of him needing to reclaim his honor. We learn that he wasn't always like this, and it stems from his need to be accepted by his father that drives most of his anger. In Book 1, we see the effects that the Fire Nation has on the rest of the world, from genocide to war prisoners to just everyday people trying to deal with their bullshit as the result of the war. Book 2, Earth, is usually seen as the best of the three, and I honestly have to agree. It builds upon elements that were touched lightly on in Book 1, like the Kyoshi warriors, and it goes back to Omashu, which was taken over by the Fire Nation. We get to see how much the Fire Nation relies on machines here, as the whole city is up in smoke due to its factories. In Season 2, we just see a whole lot more machines in general, and it's clear to us that the Industrial Revolution was something that gave an upper hand to the Fire Nation in this war. Another thing that I love about Book 2, besides getting to meet Toph, is the fact that Book 2 really lets you see more of the world and just adds that small little details about the world that lets it feel lived in. Like how we get to see the same traveling couple, or how on Avatar Day we see different opinions about the Avatar than the gang is used to seeing. There are people in this world just living their own lives, and I think that's important when it comes to building an interesting world. And of course, the cherry on top of Season 2 is that we finally get introduced to Azula. Azula is the best thing that could have ever happened to the show, because I don't think it would have that same effect if we stuck with Zhao. Azula is this badass, manipulative perfectionist that is seen as the golden child in her father's eyes and kind of a bitch in her mother's eyes, letting her have a completely different experience compared to her brother Zuko, who was seen as a waste by his father and loved dearly by his mother. Azula is able to pull at people's weaknesses and hit them where they're most insecure, and with Azula we get to meet Mei, the dark, always bored and moody, later counterpart to Zuko, and Ty Lee, the peppy, ready-to-go girl who joins the circus after getting tired of being one of 6 identical sisters. Together, these girls are just a force, and while chasing the Avatar, it always just really made me anxious because it felt like they were gonna catch him this time. Book 2 is the midpoint of the show, and in a lot of ways, it's like The Empire Strikes Back. There's a hero on a mission to further his powers, and to do that he must find a master. All while there's this powerful enemy gaining on them, and that enemy delivers a striking blow to the main hero. Aang is dead at the end of Book 2, and he has to be saved by Katara with her magical powers and even more magical water, and it leaves Team Avatar in a really weird spot leading into Book 3. Book 3, Fire, is a book that has many twists, but overall is a book of payoffs. There's closure with the characters, but not before we have the characters' limits really tested. Not before they have to fully understand what it is that they're doing and fighting for. In the lead up to Black Sun, Team Avatar gets to live amongst the Fire Nation. They experience the propaganda, classism, and lifestyle of the everyday Fire Nation citizens. Aang goes to school and kinda throws a footloose dance party, but besides that, we get to see what it's like living in a nation that's winning the war. Whether that's the pretty side or the dark side, we see how the Fire Nation's factories are polluting their own water with their own people. Most of Book 3 is leading up to the day of Black Sun, a day where the Fire Nation loses their powers, a day where our heroes are at their highest point. This plan is perfect, and unfortunately it's given away by the Earth King to Azula and ends up with the Fire Nation being prepared. The plan fails, and most of the group is taken into custody, and Team Avatar, plus some others, have to run away in defeat. This blew my mind as a kid because it really just pulls the rug out from under you. And then they're attacked at the Western Air Temple, and Team Avatar is forced to separate away from the rest of the supporting characters. Plus, Zuko is with them now? Zuko is Team Avatar? Shit got crazy. This separation allows them to tell more stories. Some of my favorite episodes, the Southern Raiders, Boiling Rock, and the Dancing Dragon episodes, were amazing and really made the final season of the show what it is. Everyone gets a day with Zuko, except for Toph. Not without lack of trying, though. The ending episodes of Season 3 stray away from the main plot of defeating the Fire Lord, and then instead build upon the characters. I'm honestly gonna have to do a whole separate episode on just character development in this show because I don't have enough time here, but the fact that they strayed away from that main plot to dive deeper into the characters, their relationships, and self-image just puts Avatar on a whole nother level compared to other TV shows. And when we finally do get back on track with Aang defeating Ozai, there's 2 big questions. Will Aang not defeat the Fire Lord? And if he does, how will he do it? Is Aang ready to defeat the Fire Lord? And if he is, will Aang's pacifist upbringing affect how he can, do it? Kill him? We know now that he doesn't kill him, he just takes his bending away, which again was mind-blowing as a kid and is possibly one of the best options ever, and none of us even saw that option coming. It's very rare for a show to neatly tie everything in a bow, have all the characters get a perfect ending. Luckily, this is one of those shows. Katara gets closure with the Southern Raiders. Sokka becomes the leader he was always meant to be. Toph learns to open up and accept relationships and trust the people around her. Iroh gets his nephew back. Zuko is able to win his uncle back and defeat his sister. Azula kinda gets what's coming to her, and Aang defeats the Fire Lord. Everyone's happy. I mean, not everyone, but everyone that matters. This is the perfect ending for the characters, and it doesn't feel cheap because everything that happened to them is earned from the start. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a show that I will always happily rewatch and revisit. The characters, the stories, the action, the music. Oh my god, the music is so good in this show. Everything just works so well. A show that was meant for kids has no reason being this good, and yet it is. Thank you guys for watching. I love talking about this show so much. It definitely won't be the last time I do. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to drop a like. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video and the show in general. And with that, I will see you next week.